Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel, back with another video. As usual, giving y'all good content. We're finna go over some auto maintenance. My auto maintenance I do, basic, and I guess you could say a little bit advanced. But we're finna cover auto maintenance on both vehicles real quick. I'm trying to keep this video as short as possible. I know it might be over 10 minutes, but try to keep it short as possible. But going over auto maintenance once again. Somebody actually just recently reached out on my YouTube channel, in comment section, and this is what my maintenance sheet is. So we're going to cover this sheet and then what my checks are and all that good stuff. So this isn't the first thing I check or anything, but we're going to check the fuse box here real quick. Make sure everything is good. For this, let's say this is maintenance and it's called preparedness as well, I guess you'll say. Make sure you have some extra fuses sitting in your car. These fuses don't cost much. AliExpress, Amazon, Temu, all that good stuff. This is like 10 bucks for a set of fuses. You got 10 amp, 5 amp, 7.5 amp, 25 amp, 20 amp, all that good stuff. But this is how I check my fuses. It's kind of hard to show y'all from here. But what I normally do is I kind of get my light or a flashlight, whatever, and you can kind of check without having to open and pull them with the fuse puller. It's just basic checks. Kind of just go like this, and it's hard to explain. I'll try to do another, put another video in here. But it's kind of come over here, and you can kind of see if the fuse is broken or not. So, but obviously your car would normally give you an issue or give you a code or something like that. But like I said, just go like this, kind of look at it like that, hover over it. But that check is done. You're just gonna put the fuse box back on. And then obviously the air box here. Now this is specifically for my Avalon. That's why I say this. Whenever you try to pull the air box, this will come loose. And I'm gonna show y'all here in a second. The latches right here. See that right there, how it just came off? So just make sure you watch that for this Avalon viewers. And I just pull my thing here, just making sure it's not dirty. But yeah, we're making sure it's not dirty. And if anything, once again, you can just shake this out. This is basic maintenance. Men, women, girl, whatever can do this. Just tap it, get some of it out. See some stuff falling on the ground here. If y'all can't see it, a little bit falling on the ground, but that's all you do. This basic check. This is a K&N filter, reusable, so I do recommend this filter. Now it does, if you're like in a climate to where you have a bunch of dust and stuff like that, now this is not a good filter to have. Use a regular paper filter, but for where I'm at, this is a good filter to have. It does give better airflow, but it's less this doesn't get the little small dust particles. It will go through this filter. That's just a given. That's why you get better airflow, a little bit better gas mileage with this filter. So, but other than that, this is good. And without recording this, I can run through this check in about 2 to 5 minutes. These checks are fairly simple. The brake fluid here, I'm gonna put a clip in here in a second. Your brake fluid should be clear. It should not be pressing my light here. But the brake fluid should be clear, shouldn't be dirty. And I'll give you an example on my Durango. I recently changed it. Give you an example on my Durango here. I recently changed it. So the fluid is clear, but the container is like still like, it shouldn't look like this. But now, like I say, my fluid is clear in here, but it's just the fluid, the plastic container is contaminated a little bit. So this has the old residue from the old fluids, because whoever had the car, they took care of it, but they did not change the brake fluid. So this is brand new brake fluid in here. And my video will be dropping for this Durango here for my brake fluid in the next few months here, but did change the brake fluid on here. Fairly simple. But like, once again, it should not look like that. It should look like my Avalons. Till you check that fluid, once again, it should be clear. It should look something like that. Synthetic fluid is what you should have. It lasts a little bit longer. Now let's go for the brake terminals here. Make sure you have no corrosion. Eventually, one time I did have corrosion on my brake terminals when I first bought this vehicle. But what you do to get this off is, Now once again for the battery terminals, get you a little bristled brush. You can get this at Harbor Freight for pretty much, you can get a set of these. Now these are like detailing brushes, but you can get a set of these for like $10, maybe $10 or less. Set of these. If you have any corrosion, any green stuff, just cover it, go over it, get some soap and water. You can get it, you can do it dry, but I do recommend like some soap and water or whatever. And also make sure you take your terminal off. You don't have to take off your terminal on this. You don't have to unplug anything. You can just go over it. Just clean it real quick. Like I say, just dry clean it. If not, you can use some little bit of soap. Don't oversaturate it because it will mess up. It will kind of drain your battery a little bit. But just come over here and just go get it. I prefer just using it dry first, and then if there's anything you can't get off, use a little bit of moisture and use a little bit of soap and water here. Like I got some alcohol and some soap in here, and this is going to be used later for a test here. But just spray that and clean it. Once we get done, we want to check it on here. This is my new and improved sheet. So this is my monthly upkeep. Normally, like I said, I check my vehicle every now and then, but monthly upkeep. Now, normally you can put like the title here of your vehicle, but I just put the picture of my vehicle, so it's a little bit easier. So what we got here, let's kind of put it right here. Make it a little bit easier. Stop for just a second, but so I got my date and my miles. This is when I first bought the vehicle. I changed out some spark plugs and I put the K&N filter. I checked other, then I listed what I did. I did gum out. I got a video on that. I did wax. Got a video on that. Air filter, belts and hoses. I'm gonna do a video on that later on sometime. And fluids here. But actually, before we finish moving forward, let's talk about the belts and hoses. Now, I really wish this was a rear-wheel drive vehicle because it'll be easier. But I have to use like a one of the most important things is every month you can do this. Honestly, it's not gonna hurt your vehicle at all. But use belt conditioner right here for all belts. Now the sprayer that it comes with is like a little thin, and like I say, this tight spot. So it's almost impossible to really get it. This is the only spot that you have right here for the belt on this vehicle. And let me give you an example of rear-wheel drive. It's so much more simpler. I can just spray right on the front. No gotta move anything. No extra tools needed. Just spray. And that's pretty much it when it comes to rear-wheel drive. So it is a little bit harder on this vehicle. But that's one thing that you do need to do every month. Especially if you drive a lot. It requires every 3,000 miles or so, I believe. Let me look at it really fast. Yeah, so use on flat rounded serpentine or V-belts. Leather, rubber. But it says use every 3,000 miles. Now, you can use it as much as you want to. I would say, like I say, once again, if you put more than 3,000 miles in your car every month, then just use it every month. That's what the monthly checklist is for. Use it every month if you have to. But this is what this checklist is for. So I want to just always check my dipstick here and there. No matter when I open my hood for anything, I always just check it. Always check your fluids. Once again, make sure it's at the proper level. And this one is... Hopefully y'all can see that. Make sure it's on the 2 marks. Most oil filters do have the little 2 dots here. I'll show y'all my Durango here in a second. So my Durango here, just make sure it's on a 2 mark. Now I have to wipe this off sometimes. So see, normally if it does this, when it's like, if it looks like it's overfilled, let me get a little out, zoom out. If it looks like it's overfilled, just get you a rag here and just wipe it out. And we're gonna put it back in here just to double check. Kind of like dab it a little bit, I guess. And then we just gonna double check here. And it does come out to where it's supposed to be at. So hopefully y'all see that it is good enough, but it does come out to both spots or whatever. So yeah, that is good. So sometimes you do have to wipe it with a rag to get your exact measurement. I think some cars nowadays got a measurement level in the system, in the cluster screen, but where the radiator cap is. So I always just open this every now and then and check it. Just always open and check it. It can be some loose material in there, some metal shreds, anything. If that's something like that, then definitely want to get that taken care of. But once again, these are just basic checks here. And then that's the radiator cap, and then you have the overflow tank or the reservoir tank. Just make sure it's filled. And a lot of times if it's not full like that, not a lot of times, but half of the time it could be fluid left in the heater core. So you can probably run your heater and it might end up filling up. But if it does not, make sure you have some coolant on the side. It don't have to be the it doesn't have to be the recommended fluid for this vehicle. Like I said, you can use this. You can use some other stuff. Just make sure if you're using this, like I'm using, like I say, if I can't get the fluid, because most manufacturer fluid, you got to go to the dealership, you got to get it ordered, whatever, and that takes too long, and you want to just get something that's off the shelf, I recommend getting fluid. And whenever you change your fluid, get it off the shelf. Now, normally, fluid or coolant, I keep saying fluid, coolant doesn't need to be changed for like every 5 to 10 years or so. So you really don't have to worry too much about it. But if you start getting low, because your fluid does get low naturally when you use your AC in general, so it is going to burn some of the coolant fluid, but it's just not significant to where you have to keep adding more and more into it. But that can just be the significant burn. I have had this car for a year. I put like 10,000 miles on it, so that could be for what it was. Or once again, it could be in the heater core back there. But you want to get one that mixes with any coolant antifreeze. You want to get one like this, not just any one, because you don't want to mix it and it messes up your coolant system, whatever. So you want to get something that's like this. If you just don't have time to order, or you don't have time to go to the dealership, go to your AutoZone, O'Reilly's, Advanced Auto Parts store and get you one of these real quick. This is from AutoZone, if I'm not mistaken. Once again, one needs to be mixed with any antifreeze. It needs to be mixed with any color antifreeze, so this can mix good with this. I have used this for my Durango as well there, if I get low. So I can add some a little bit if I want to, but it's not low enough. It's not even in the middle, so I'm not going to add it. Now it has a full and a low part. You can't see the low. You can see the L, but that's when it's low, so that's when you might want to add it. But right now, don't need to add it. It's good. I'm driving perfectly fine for a few months with that, so it's pretty much be in the same spot. So we're going to end up marking that on the list. Fluid check, boom, checked all the fluids. Oil. Now the transmission thing, I hate it. You cannot check your transmission fluid unless you literally get up under your car and drain some of it or whatever you got to do. They don't put transmission dipsticks back here no more. Now on the Durango, it used to be on the older Durangos, on my old Charger, it used to be back here. They'll normally put it like way in the back so you can check it, but they don't put that no more. So I can't add that to the checklist or put it there. But I know when I recently changed my transmission fluid on my Durango here. I changed it when I got the vehicle, but I definitely changed it at 126,000 miles. Changed my differential, transmission fluid, and my brake fluid. So once again, mark that as checked there. Make sure there's no cracks, no visible cracks, leaks, and all that good stuff. Once again, normally nothing's over here, but you also can check your electrical parts, because it can be a crack here or a chip here. You might want to seal it up with some duct tape or some resealer, or just checking the back. Make sure nothing ain't leaking back there. Just checking everything. You can move the engine cover as well. Check what's under here. Just making sure everything looks good. Electrical connections, nothing's pinched. Anything obvious should stick out. A little bit of dirt, obviously, but I'm just gonna follow hoses here and just check, make sure no cracks, leaks, anything loose. Now for motor mounts, it's a good thing that I caught this. Now for motor mounts, because we use it on our suspension pieces as well, use some lubricant, use some silicone lubricant. Really good stuff. Like I say, it's for bushings, bearings, chains. This will make the car mounts last much longer. This is a good example. So once again, just spray. I'm kind of low on this, but just giving y'all an example here. See if it'll let me. But spray, it'll moisturize it and it'll make it last just that much longer. It's not going to stop the service life. It's going to extend the service life, but it's eventually one day you will have to replace your motor mounts. Thing we're going to do, this is a bonus to the video. So for this, hopefully y'all can hear me. Soap and water, you can spray where your hose is at, like air ducts, things of that nature, so you can see if there's a leak somewhere. This is a bonus. You don't have to do this on your monthly check, but I recommend it. Spray around the air box and see if there's any leaks, any bubbles, anything like that. See anything back here as well. Anything around the intake. Anything. So that's the basics. We should be good. I don't see any leaks anywhere. We still got the car on. Just make sure, last thing, a mental note, you don't have to put it down. A mental note, make sure your lights are working. Make sure your turn signal lights working, all that good stuff, because you don't want to get pulled over and it's like, oh, I didn't know that. Make sure your lights are on, flashers, all that good stuff. Make sure it's working. And last thing, which really should have been the first thing, make sure there's no leaks. It's one of the first steps. Make sure there's no leaks under your car. Any leaks, then, you know what I'm saying, check. No leaks, no nothing under the Durango as well, nothing under my car, so everything is good. Once again, get your piece of paper, put in what you need, just double check your work, and we're gonna get on to the second part. Is here, all my stuff. This is what you really need. I got my, I just wanna come up real quick. I might do a series or something, but I got my silicone lubricant. And I have my grease gun. I'm just greasing my ball joints and all that good stuff here. So just making sure everything is good. It's a lot of grease. It's coming out. So the rear ones normally have some grease or a ball joint in the back. Hopefully y'all can see that. But yeah, grease coming out, whatever. But other than that, I'm just making sure I'm greasing and then I'm getting in between. I'm gonna turn my flash. So I'm just making sure I'm getting the rubber boots and all that good stuff, the bushings and stuff. These are the main components you have to do. So like I say, my ball joints, see the grease right there, but my ball joints, normally there is a sway, or it's not a sway bar link, but it's a linkage back here. It's normally at least one. Show y'all, just getting the bushings. I found some other bushings right here. I didn't lubricate. All has to do with the suspension. Tight spots, but yeah, let's try to get some on here because it has to do with the suspension. If I can get it, if y'all can see that, I got a little bit. And then there we go right there. But like once again, the bushings, this is the strut. This is the bushing for the strut. You want to just lubricate that. Once again, this is just lubricating blaster. This ain't difficult, like I say. Bushings, bearings, chains. This is really good stuff right here. I think it's like a $8 bottle. But other than that, man, I'm gonna make it wrap for this part. I'm gonna show y'all what I do else for routine maintenance as well. This is on my Toyota Avalon. So just get this stuff done. I mean, just take the wheel off. Just takes a few seconds to do. It's not difficult. Take the wheel off. Everything's here. I'm just going wheel by wheel, finishing it up. The front side has more ball joints, so you just have to have some more grease or whatever. But all we doing is filling up grease in these. If they are low or it looks dry, we're gonna fill grease up on them. And you also can so these don't like dry rot as well. You can throw the lubricant on here as well. But I'm not gonna do it right now. But what I'm gonna do here is I will get some bushings like this right here. If y'all can see that right there, I'm just gonna, it's not really that important, but we're gonna do that. And then you see the one right here in the back end on this side. Just make sure stuff is lubricated. This right here, this is just a better example. The rear is pretty simple. And then like these bushings, these are very important. These are very, very important bushings. These is what hold the car in. If this breaks, you will have a lot of issues. But I'm just trying to give y'all an example. You can go through this. Like I said, I'll show my checklist here when I get to my fluids and stuff. But I just want to make it simple for y'all. As simple as possible. This is all you do. Once again, lubricant and just a grease gun. Below. But if you are a DIYer and you like doing stuff like this, or you just don't want to take it to the shop and have people do stuff, like I say, this is really inexpensive, like 30 bucks for all this stuff in total. You just need to jack your car up, take the wheel off. That's pretty much it. I'm not gonna show you all those steps, but I'm just showing y'all the main important things here. Yeah, just mainly ball joints. We got a ball joint here. This is the McPherson suspension, best suspension on the market outside of the town cars. These are just low on grease. You can just tell, it's very obvious. Outside of that, you can put the lubricant on here as well. See any cracks or stuff like that, but like I said, we're just trying to find stuff that has the bushings. These are the bushings. Once again, just making it simple. Do this like I recommend checking these like every 30,000 miles or so. It's not that dire. Eventually, like I say, eventually you will have to replace these. Yeah, the lubricant is good. It's just it's like a conditioner or a conditioner, just making it last a little bit longer. But eventually these will be replaced years on down the line, just making it last longer. That's all that I'm saying. I'm not saying that it's going to be perfected, but other than that, that's pretty much it. We're going to grease the, like I said, we got a ball joint here. And then we have the ball joint here, which is a very important ball joint. This kind of like this is where your alignment is at. This is how they align your car as well. So this is a very important ball joint to have. So we only have this one, and then the lower one right here. So I'll try to record a little bit of me. And this is my grease gun. I think I showed it already, but it's like a Husky grease gun or something like that. This is a mini grease gun. It's not the big grease gun. Like one of these tubes will pretty much get you through the front. One of the tubes will get you to the front. These are like a 3-ounce tube. This will get you to the two front pieces of suspension and then to the rear as well. Yeah, you should just need, normally come in a pack of 3. Just get a pack of 3. It's like $10-$12 for them. Like I said, I'll put the link in the description here below. Go to the top here. Wish I could show y'all, but all we doing is making I will show y'all. All we doing is making a little puncture in, and then we just squeeze on the gun. So let's watch it fill up a little bit. You should see it like kind of. Full now. If it start coming out like that, it means it's pretty much full. Let's get you a towel here and just wipe the excess off. And that's it. You're done with that ball joint. Like I say, this is a quick process. It shouldn't take you long. Like doing this, like I say, every 30,000 miles or so, however you want to do it, every 20,000 miles, every 10,000 miles. I recommend between every 30 to 60,000 miles. Yeah.